Orlando Magic HQ was popping. So Magic fans, the time is still ticking down. We are just about a week away from this year's NBA draft, which is going to be taking place on June 23rd. And Magic fans, there's still a lot of speculation about what the Magic are going to do in this year's draft. There's still a lot of reports going out that the Magic's front office could potentially go ahead and try to package both of their picks and try to move into the top three. And it possibly means some of our role players could be on the move, or the Magic can continue to stand pat, take pick 6 and 11, and to continue to build through the draft. And Magic fans, we've already talked about a handful of prospects on the channel that the Magic should go ahead and try to target, with guys like Jarris Walker, Cam Whitmore, Grady Dick, the list goes on. And Magic fans, we're going to be talking about today one of the two Thompson twins, and today we're going to be talking about Ausar Thompson. Now, who is Ausar Thompson? Ausar Thompson is a 20-year-old basketball player, twin brother of Amen Thompson, a player that we've already talked about here on the channel. And Ausar Thompson spent 2 seasons with the Overtime Elite Academy, and Ausar is also from the state of Florida, as he played high school basketball in Fort Lauderdale at Pinecrest High School. Now, for anybody that's not familiar with the Overtime Elite Academy, it's extremely similar to the NBA G League Ignite and what they do over there. That is more of a one-and-done process, trying to get prospects ready for the NBA draft. And we've seen a lot of talented players come out from the NBA G League Ignite, with guys like Jalen Green, Jonathan Kuminga. Now this year it's going to be Scoot Henderson. The list goes on. And with the Overtime Elite, the only big major difference between them is not only one, the level of competition, but two, it takes a lot more of high school prospects, guys that are 17, 18, 19 years of age, getting these guys prepared for professional basketball. And that's exactly what we've seen from now both of the Thompson twins, who are going to be lottery picks. Now, looking at what Ausar brings to the table, he comes in at about 6'7", 215 pounds. He's got a 7-foot wingspan, and this past season for the Overtime Elite City Reapers, he averaged 16, 7, and 6, still chipped in 2 steals, a block, and about 3 turnovers per game he averaged, but he had shooting splits of 48, 30, and 66. Now, talking about Ausar Thompson and some of the great things that he brings to the table, let's start on the offensive side of the ball. And I think one is he's an exceptional passer, especially in transition. The way that he can see the court, he can get guys to commit to him defensively, and the ability for him to kick out to shooters and also to dish the ball down low. He does a great job when it comes to driving and kicking, and like I said, making sure he can set guys up in an exceptional way in order to get them the ball. Another great thing about Ausar Thompson, I think he's a phenomenal player in transition, not only when he's just running the break, but his ability to get out in transition and put a lot of pressure on the defense. He does a great job getting out in the open court, and he also does a great job of just being a great athlete who can run 94 feet consistently up and down the court. A couple of other really great things I noticed about Ausar Thompson when going back over his tape is he's got a great first step, he's got great blow by speed, and of course he's an exceptional athlete just like his brother Amen. Both of these guys can fly up out of the gym. These guys get up into the air when it comes to blocking shots. Obviously, their athleticism when you talk about finishing at the rim with a lot of these highlight dunks, and also his ability to be a crafty finisher at the rim. This guy does a great job penetrating the defense, getting down low, and his ability to go ahead and finish a lot of these acrobatic and tough layups. Now, when it comes to Ausar's shooting, I do think he's a solid shooter. He's a little bit better of a shooter than his brother Amen Thompson, but he's not still a great shooter. I think he's solid, and of course, it's going to take him some time at the next level to go ahead and to continue to work on his craft, especially when you talk about consistently knocking down jumpers, because he does have the ability to be a spot-up shooter. He does have the ability to be a guy who can shoot the ball off the dribble, especially in pick-and-roll situations, but I'm not really sure how I feel about him in one-on-one situations, ISO ball, creating shots and opportunities for himself. Even with his blow-by speed, I think he does a much better job in transition of getting a lot of points and also moving without the ball. When you talk about cutting towards the basket, I don't think he's the best when it comes to creating shots for himself, just straight jumpers, but he does have that capability, and of course you see the potential there. But speaking about his shooting, let's actually go ahead and take a look at his shot chart so you guys can go ahead and see exactly what I'm referring to. But when you look at the top of the key, that's clearly his best three-point shot. The left and the right wing, not so favorable. But when you talk about his ability to penetrate the defense, get down inside, and get to the restricted arc, he does a great job there, shooting about 62%. And while he's still not the best jump shooter, he will take a fair amount of mid-range jump shots, and he does do a fairly good job with that. Now, kind of talking a little bit about Ausar's weakness weaknesses, the first thing that comes to mind for me is he does have to be, like I said, a more consistent and knockdown shooter. He does have the capabilities, he does have the tool, and I think he does have the vision in order to create separation and to become a good shooter at the next level, but that's still going to come with time, especially that 66% from the free throw line is not going to cut it. And of course, subpar 30% shooting from behind the arc is not going to work in today's modern NBA, especially if you're a primary ball handler. Another weakness I kind of identified with Ausar Thompson, and I wouldn't necessarily call it a weakness, I just think he needs to tighten up a little bit more on his handle. I think sometimes his ability to lose the rock, especially in the half-court offense when he's getting a little bit sloppy and he's trying to be a little bit too fancy, can be an issue, but that's something that'll still come with time, and he needs to do a better job with that. And also, like I said, just becoming a more consistent and knockdown shooter in the half-court offense. And something else I forgot to mention earlier about his strength was, I think he's an exceptional defender. That's my fault, I forgot to mention that. I do think that this guy does a great job moving laterally. Obviously, he has the athleticism to really stay in front of any guard and most small forwards in today's modern NBA, being a great 3-and-D guy, especially on that wing. He can switch, and of course, he's got the ability to leap up in the air, block a lot of shots, steal the ball, and get out in transition to put a lot of pressure on the defense. He's a very, very good defender with his length and versatility. Now, looking at a potential lineup of what the Magic would look like if they went ahead and drafted Ausar Thompson, I think you would still have in your starting five Markelle Fultz and Jalen Suggs in the backcourt, alongside Paolo, Banchero, Franz Wagner, and Wendell Carter Jr. Then off the bench is where you're going to have Cole Anthony and Ausar Thompson. You're going to have the number 11 overall pick in whatever direction that is that the Magic want to go, alongside Bol, Gary Harris, Caleb Houston, Jonathan Isaac, Mo Wagner, and the list goes on. And while I do believe that Ausar Thompson would be a pretty good fit for the Magic, especially being a guy who can come in, be a 3-and-D guy immediately off of the bench and be a great hustle guy, a guy that can take a lot of ball pressure off of guys like Cole Anthony coming off the bench, and he's going to be a guy who's going to be a willing passer, and then he's going to be a guy that can feed guys in transition, push the break, and I think he would do a great job with a lot of these outlet passes as well too. Ausar Thompson definitely could be someone that I could see in a Magic uniform, and of course we've seen a lot of mock drafts of him coming to Orlando, but when it comes to my final verdict with him, I'm not really sold completely on both Amen and Ausar Thompson completely yet, just because I do think that the level of competition is a level of concern for me. It does raise an eyebrow for myself too, because while there is some good talented players and there are some professional level players that you've played at the Overtime Elite Academy, and a lot of these guys of course are going to ascend to the next level at some point in their careers, I do think that it is still something you have to talk about because they're not playing on a national Division I scale consistently. And look, every outlet is different. Of course, they're not playing for the G League Ignite. No, they're not playing for some huge Division I basketball program like Duke or UNC. I get it. They're playing some good competition, but I think for me personally, I would have liked to have seen their talents put on a much different and bigger stage. I do think that they're still terrific athletes. I'm not completely sold on them coming to Orlando, but at the end of the day, it's not my decision. I think that these guys still have a far and future career in the NBA, and I think that they still got a lot of potential. I think that their ceiling is really limitless when it comes to their overall potential, but when it comes to me, not really completely sold on Ausar and Amen Thompson, but at the end of the day, whoever the Magic draft, of course I'm going to come in here and support these guys. So Magic fans, that's it for this video. We want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments down below about the possibility of Ausar Thompson potentially coming to the Orlando Magic. Magic fans, let us know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. But Magic fans, if y'all enjoyed today's video, make sure you guys go ahead and drop me a thumbs up. It takes 1 second and it helps me in the channel out tremendously. Make sure you guys also go ahead and hit that subscribe bell to stay tuned for more Magic content that I do here on YouTube. And Magic fans, make sure you guys also go ahead and follow me and OrlandoMagicHQ on all of our socials, especially on Twitter. We're both very active and we're on there every single day. The link tree will be in the description down below. But Magic fans, thanks again for sticking around throughout the whole video. Brett James, aka BJ. I'm out, y'all. Go Magic, baby. Peace.